Have you ever played fantasy football and after just 1 week of the regular season, you find yourself overreacting? You look down at your phone, one of your early round picks, they're underperforming after just 1 week, but yet you overreact and say, to hell with this guy. I'm gonna trade this motherfucker.
Yeah. Analytics off the chain, all the channels not the same. Jake and Kyle, you know the name. Headliner Nation, we running the game. I'm a headliner.
What is going on, Headliner Nation? Jake, Fantasy Headliners. Hopefully everybody's doing well out there. Today we're talking about people who panic, and it's gonna be a banger today. Because I don't care if you've drafted or you have not drafted yet, you can get something beneficial from this show here today. It never fails, right? Every year after week 1, maybe even week 2 of the NFL season, people are out there saying, oh, this guy's a bust, oh, this guy sucks, oh, we were totally wrong on this guy. It's been a week or two into now a 17-game season. Now, there could be some slow starting studs this year in fantasy football. It happens every single year. It's not like I'm making some bold prediction here. It's going to happen to a few players. How do you react to that is the question here that we're going to be answering and helping a lot of people with today. Got 4 teams we're going to be going through that could have some slow starting studs and how you should handle it here moving forward for the 2021 fantasy football season. Now, just a quick reminder, maybe you haven't drafted yet. If you haven't, we got you covered. Maybe you didn't do any research. A 600-page virtual draft guide can get you everything you need to dominate fantasy football here in 2021. If you're looking for it, thefantasyheadliners.com. But now, let's head over to the draft guide because we're going to be using one of the sections here in this draft guide. We're going to go scroll through here. You can see all the different sections we have in our draft guide. Got everything pretty much covered that you need. But the section we're looking at here today is going to be the matchup meter. So we're going to go ahead and open up the matchup meter and start to look at a few of these schedules to start off for a couple teams. And let's start it off with the Buffalo Bills, right? One of the best offenses in all of football. However, look at the schedule to start the season. A little bit tough, right? Pittsburgh, Miami, the Washington football team. It's not going to surprise me if, the Bills may be okay, but what if they struggle out of the stretch and don't put up those big numbers that you've come to expect, especially from a Stefon Diggs, who you probably had to take in by the second round, right? So that's going to cause a lot of people to be a little bit anxious. A lot of people are very impatient in fantasy football. However, look at some of the matchups they have after the first 3 weeks. A game against Houston, a potential shootout against Kansas City, a great matchup against Tennessee, then their bye week, another difficult matchup against Miami, but then you have Jacksonville and the New York Jets, some great matchups after the first 3 weeks for those Buffalo Bills. So Stefon Diggs, Gabriel Davis, those are 2 names that I'm really paying close attention to. Zach Moss, Devin Singletary, not so much because you're probably not going to be reliant on them anyway. Whoever has them probably not going to be someone I actively go after. Josh Allen, anybody who has Josh Allen probably isn't going to give up that early into the season, but Stefon Diggs, that owner, could start to panic. Maybe you have somebody on your roster that starts off hot. You can flip them and take advantage of the easier schedule coming up after those first 3 weeks. Now, maybe you see this as, I don't want to draft Stefon Diggs now because of this tough start. Don't panic about stuff like that. These guys are studs for a reason. They still can perform. It just lowers their likelihood that they can. So that's why we kind of have to pay attention to this, right? If you don't find yourself with one of these guys on your team, maybe after week 2, you start talking to that owner, hey man, what's going on with Stefon Diggs? And I don't know, man, I'm a little bit worried. Then he goes out and struggles against the Washington football team. Now all of a sudden, you've hooked him, right? Listen, man, I'm going to go ahead and send you player A. You send me back Stefon Diggs. I'm hoping that he's not going to bust this year. You totally use car salesman that job and get him on your squad for a discounted price. You're getting yourself a second-round wide receiver, and all of a sudden now you get these juicy matchups coming up, and you're going to reap the rewards from it. So the Buffalo Bills, definitely a team that I'm paying attention to here early. I'm watching all the members in my league that own members of the Bills. So it's definitely something to pay attention to. What about the next team here? Let's move down. Let's talk about the Los Angeles Rams. Another fairly difficult start to the season, right? I mean, look at week 1 through 4 for the most part. You got Chicago, Indianapolis, Tampa Bay, and Arizona. Then after that, we've got Seattle, not a bad matchup. The Giants, I think the Giants defense a little underrated, but then you got Detroit, Houston, Tennessee. Fairly difficult matchup against San Francisco in a bye week, but then Green Bay, Jacksonville, Arizona, another matchup against Seattle. There are some definite buy opportunities for members of the Rams. Maybe they struggle after the first 2 or 3 weeks, similar to the Bills. You have the likes of Darrell Henderson, Robert Woods, Cooper Kupp. those owners could start getting a little bit of anxiety, right? Man, this guy's a bust. I knew I shouldn't have drafted him. You swoop in and totally reap the rewards of that schedule after the first 5 weeks of the season. Like I said, this happens all the time, right? And I don't know about you, but I'm all about making sure I have all the best players that are going to finish strong. I don't overreact in the first week of the season. Look at what happened last year with just CEH. After the first week of the season, everybody was telling me how wrong I was on CH because I said to avoid him. I didn't hear hardly anything from anybody the rest of the season. It's too early to overreact in week 1. So much more can happen, especially in a season with an extra game here this year. So the Los Angeles Rams, definitely another one of those teams that I'm paying close attention to because they may start off a little bit slow, but that is okay. The schedule gets better, and I have no issue owning any one of these members of the Los Angeles Rams. How about the next team? And the New Orleans Saints. Now, I'm going to go ahead and just say this here real quick. I mean, we know Alvin Kamara, last year's running back 1 overall, took a huge final week of the season, like 6 touchdowns and everything, but still, the guy had a great year. And now with Jameis Winston being named the starter in New Orleans, that is a good thing for Alvin Kamara. That really raises his ceiling back up. But look at the start of the season here. Green Bay, Carolina, not too bad, right? Now, I would take those matchups. But then New England, the Giants, and the Washington football team are going to be very difficult matchups. Plus, you have the bye week right after that. That's tough. And then they're going to look at their schedule after the bye and say, all right, I got Seattle, but then I got Tampa Bay again. People are going to panic on Alvin Kamara. The guy could come out a little bit slow. He has in the past, right? It's not we've never seen him start slow before. So don't panic if you own Alvin Kamara. Hold on to him because the schedule gets better. We see matchups against Atlanta, Tennessee, Philadelphia, Buffalo, Dallas, the Jets. It gets better for Alvin Kamara. Marquez Callaway, another name I'm paying attention to, with Traquan Smith banged up, Michael Thomas. Who knows what's going to happen with Michael Thomas? Marquez Callaway, that deep threat for Jameis Winston, is definitely a name to pay attention to now. And if people come out and they don't respect these guys, or they're looking to offload them, you may find yourself a position where you can come out here and reap the rewards from it. Alvin Kamara could end up being a discount buy. If he is, the owner of the team doesn't really know what he's doing. But let's be honest, there's a lot of owners out there on teams that have no idea what they're doing. So pay attention to this. New Orleans, another one of those teams that could start off a little bit slow first 5 weeks of the season. Next at the Washington football team. Now, this is why I love Washington. I absolutely love Antonio Gibson this year. We love ourselves some Terry McLaurin. Heck, we like Logan Thomas. Even Ryan Fitzmagic we like over here. And here's why. Their schedule is amazing. After the first 3 weeks. The first 3 weeks, a little bit rough, right? The Chargers, the Giants, and the Bills. A little bit of a rough schedule. Not super tough. It's not like he's going up against, the best of the best, but they're difficult matchups to start. And if this team's offense sputters at all, maybe Antonio Gibson comes out and gets you 16 carries for 60 yards in the first 2 games, and that owner's super depressed because he was hoping for 20-point games every single week, just like people do out there. Well, swoop in, make an offer, because there's going to be that opportunity for those big 20-point games afterwards. Look at some of these other schedules after the first 3 weeks of the season. Atlanta, New Orleans, shootouts against Kansas City, Green Bay, Denver, difficult bye in Tampa Bay. So you have a rough stretch 8 to 10, but look at 11 through 15. Plus their playoff matchup. I didn't even put that on there because that's another section of the draft guide, but wow. 11 through the end of the season is amazing for the Washington football team with games against Carolina, Seattle, the Raiders, Dallas, Philadelphia. It could be a huge end of the season for the Washington football team if you miss out on a couple of these guys. If they start slow, the likes of an Antonio Gibson, Terry McLaurin, even Curtis Samuel, this is the time that you need to make that move. Wait till right around week 3-ish. As soon as week 3 is over, if he's struggled at all, any of those names, go make an offer on them because the schedule gets way easier and people are going to start panicking. But now, like I said, this is something that we try to pay attention to when we're drafting, or we've already drafted, right? Just because you've drafted doesn't mean all your research is over, right? You drafted the names, the players that you wanted, but the ones that win the championships are the ones that are very fluid throughout the regular season and make all the right moves. There's going to be times in every team owner's lifespan, I guess you could say, where they need to make some decisions. Some of them, you just don't know what to do with these guys, but when you pay attention, you really look into things and you break down the numbers and you know what to expect, it makes those decisions so much easier. So maybe even just with these 4 teams, take these 4 teams, look at your roster, look at the rosters of the others in your league, look at the draft board when you're drafting, say, hey, This guy went super lean on running back. He did take Antonio Gibson, but doesn't have a whole lot left after that. All right, what do I got? I got a Miles Sanders. Maybe Miles Sanders comes out and has a great week 1 or week 2. Antonio Gibson struggles. That may be a swap because the guy is going to be in panic mode, and it happens everywhere. I don't care who you are. Almost all leagues have people who panic sell players. Make sure that you're paying attention to things and looking forward like we did here in this video today. It'll really help you make the best decisions for your team and help you win more fantasy football championships. But we want to stay, interactive with you guys. Leave those comments down below. If you enjoy these type of videos where we kind of look at things a little bit differently, hit the like button. The like button helps us out way more than you would know here on YouTube to help push us through the YouTube algorithm to get more views. But we greatly appreciate all the support. It's been a great offseason, been a busy offseason. Looking forward to the regular season, though. Hit that subscribe button because we got you covered all season long. Maybe you're new here and you don't know what we do regular season. Our start-sit videos are unmatched to any channel out there because we cover every player on every team in every matchup every week to make sure that you have a take on a player on your roster. You don't want to go watch a video that has my starts of the week and it's 5 guys and none of them are even on your team, right? So we're going to make sure you're covered here all season long. So hit that subscribe button. We greatly appreciate you. Hopefully you have a great rest of your day. We'll talk to you later.
I'm a headliner.